Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Samantha. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If this is your first time here, you're also very welcome. I want to thank everybody who subscribed so far, but if you haven't already subscribed, then please go ahead and hit the red subscribe button and also click the bell icon so that whenever I have a new video on the channel, you'll be notified. And I'd also really appreciate it if you give the video a big thumbs up. In this video, we're going to make an amazing hair growth oil. So I already have a video in which I showed you how to make a hair growth oil, one type of hair growth oil, but the one we're making today is quite different because we're using different ingredients, and it's going to be beneficial for anyone who's struggling to grow their hair or has actually lost hair. So this is something that's going to treat things like traction alopecia areata, if you've got AGA, which is a type of alopecia that's caused by genetics, or if you have male pattern balding, or even if you've got excessive shedding, things like that, which are just putting stress on your hair follicles and your follicles are not producing hair. What we're going to make today, this hair growth oil, is going to beat all of that. So if you have any of those conditions, or you know anyone with those conditions, then please go ahead and watch this video right up to the end, because then I'll give you all the information about the ingredients, I'll show you how to make it, and then I'll explain how to use it. So to make our growth oil, the first ingredient is going to be rosemary. So I'm using this ready-made rosemary oil, which has quite a decent amount of rosemary in it. But if you prefer, you can either make your own rosemary oil, or you can actually just use a few drops of rosemary essential oil. That will still be fine. Rosemary is one of my favorite ingredients now because it has so many benefits. It can stimulate hair growth, and it can also encourage growth in areas which are bald. So rosemary was found to be just as effective as minoxidil, which is also known as Rogaine, and therefore it is known to be an effective treatment for alopecia, whether it's alopecia areata or traction alopecia, male pattern balding, female pattern balding, excessive hair shedding. Rosemary can help with that. So if you're suffering from any of those things, then I encourage you to try it. I featured rosemary in a separate video, which I'll link to on the screen and in the description box below, so that you can watch that and learn more about rosemary and how it can help your hair to grow. The next ingredient is a really exciting one, which is something called black seed oil. There are lots of black seeds out there, so the one that we want to use is called Nigella sativa. So Nigella sativa has got something called thymoquinone in it, which is a powerful antioxidant, and therefore it can help to protect the scalp and the hair from free radical damage. But it also has powerful anti-inflammatory properties, and it is the anti-inflammatory properties which can help to dampen down the inflammation that occurs when you have something called alopecia areata or traction alopecia. And that is why black seed oil, Nigella sativa, has been shown to treat alopecia, and therefore it can help hair to grow back in bald areas. It is amazing, absolutely amazing. Black seed oil also has antibacterial and antifungal properties, so it can help to keep our scalps nice and clean and healthy and free from fungus and bacteria. It also helps with excessive shedding. So again, if you're suffering from that, then this is something that you want to incorporate. So if you've never used it before, then I encourage you to patch test it. So basically take a small amount and apply it in a small inconspicuous area before you apply it all over your hair, because if you are allergic to it or something, then you don't want that horrible reaction all over. But if you're not allergic to it, then incorporate it, because I think it's going to be amazing. The next ingredient is something I've talked about before, which is coffee. So coffee is really good when it comes to hair growth, because the caffeine and flavonoids in it will stimulate blood circulation and therefore stimulate hair growth that way. But It also contains DHT blockers, which can help to stop things like male pattern balding, excessive hair shedding, female pattern balding. So coffee is really, really good. I did a separate video in which I talked about coffee and coffee oil, and I'll link that on the screen and in the description box below, so you can watch that and learn how coffee can help your hair to grow. The next ingredient is one of my favorite essential oils, which is fantastic when it comes to stimulating hair growth. So this is peppermint essential oil, and the one that has been shown to stimulate hair growth is the piperita mentha. So the others will help to some extent because they will still give you the tingling sensation, which means it's going to stimulate blood circulation. But if you really want to boost hair growth, then try by all means to get the piperita mentha, because that will be amazing. It also smells amazing, so our hair oil is gonna smell great with a combination of the rosemary essential oil and also the peppermint essential oil. And then, because we're making an oil which we want to be really, really penetrating, we are using a penetrating carrier oil, and this time around I'm using sesame seed oil. You can use any other penetrating oil, so things like olive oil will be good, almond oil, sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, any type of vegetable oil is going to be fine. Even coconut oil is a good penetrating oil. As well as argan oil. So just choose one that you like, that your hair likes, because it's going to be good. But I'm using sesame seed oil. The main reason is because sesame seed oil has also been shown to stimulate hair growth. So it doesn't just act as a carrier to carry the ingredients to the hair follicles. In itself, it can promote healthy hair growth, so that's why I'm using it. But as I said, you can use any other oil of your choice. What we're also going to need, a jar, and I'm using glass one, which is heat resistant. We're also going to need a pot that's filled with hot water. So now just enjoy the video while I show you how I make it. The first thing we're going to do is to make coffee oil. So you may have watched my other video in which I showed you how to make coffee oil. So it's very much along the same lines, except that we're not going to warm the ingredients together for as long as 2.5 hours. So I'm going to pour 1/4 cup of oil into the jar. And then I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of the coffee and add that to the jar. And then I want to close it tightly so that no moisture will get in. Shake it up to mix the ingredients well, and then place the jar inside the pot where there is the hot water. So this is what's called the double boiler method, where you put something inside a container and then put the container into the pot of water, so that you're not putting the ingredients directly into the pot. It's a good way to preserve the nutrients of the ingredients that you're using. So if you've not used this before, then go ahead and try it and you'll see the difference. So as you can see, I'm only simmering it. I'm not boiling it because I really just want to warm the oil, and this will activate the coffee so that it will infuse the oil, and that's the point of this. We want to make coffee oil, so you just leave it to simmer for about 30 minutes and that should be okay. After 30 minutes, I take it out and then allow it to cool completely. So remember, we're going to be handling this with our bare hands, and therefore we need to make sure that it is completely cooled down. The other thing is, because we're going to be adding essential oils, we don't want to add them to anything that's too warm, because otherwise that will make the essential oils ineffective. So So once the coffee oil has completely cooled down, it's time to strain it. So as always, I use something very fine, and I like using the end of a pair of ties because this will catch any particles which are in the coffee oil. Otherwise, you'll have bits in your oil and you really don't want that stuck in your hair. So I'm using the end of a pair of ties, but you can use a wig cap or even a cheesecloth. That will be absolutely fine. So I'm using the end of a pair of ties, but you can use anything else, something like a wig cap or even a fine cheesecloth. So I'm using the end of a pair of ties to strain my coffee oil, but you can use anything else like a wig cap or even a fine cheesecloth that will still catch all the particles. So I'm just going to squeeze gently, and as you can see, the coffee oil is coming out nice and clear and clean. And now it's time to add the other ingredients. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of rosemary oil. And then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of black seed oil. And then finally, I'm going to add about 5 or 6 drops of the peppermint essential oil. And that's it. So I'm just going to mix it well, just to make sure that all the oils are beautifully mixed together. And this is how much we managed to make. So you get about 50 mils of oil, and because you're only going to use a little bit at a time, just a few drops to your scalp, this is actually going to last a long time. So we've got about 50 mils of oil, and it's beautiful, it's clean, it is gorgeous. So this is our super hair growth oil. So I've got this little bottle here which already has a pipette, which is going to help me to get just a few drops out of the bottle and apply that to my scalp. But you can put this in any container. So I chose to put this in a dark colored glass bottle because the black seed oil and the rosemary oil like to be kept in the dark. So if you don't have this, it's fine. Just make sure that you keep it out of direct sunlight or away from light in general, and this will help to make it last longer and be effective for much longer. So this is essentially it. The oil is ready to use, and I prefer to apply this directly onto my scalp, and I use it as a scalp oil, just a few drops all over the scalp, and then just massage for a few minutes. So I don't wash it out, but if you prefer, you can apply this, leave it on for 30 minutes or even overnight, and then wash it out in the morning, and therefore you can use it as a pre-poo. So this is it. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you make it, if you try it, do come back and let me know. Again, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and then click the bell icon. See you soon, my lovelies. Bye for now.